Hi, good evening. I'd like to welcome you to Poem Praise 2. I do thank you for tuning in, and certainly peace and blessings be upon you and your family this day. Well, the day is over with. So how about peace and blessings be upon you and your family this evening, okay? We are going to go ahead and get right back at it. The lies my teacher told me. We are now in take 12. The page that we're on page 28. Here we already done got through a little bit part of the book. You see that? Okay. Now, let's go ahead and continue right along. And it goes like this. Now, a host of other reasons. Pressure from the ruling class. Pressure from the textbook adoption committees. The wish to avoid ambiguities, a desire to shield children from harm or conflict, the perceived need to control children and avoid classroom disharmony, pressure to provide answers may help explain why textbooks omit troublesome facts. A certain etiquette coerces us all into speaking in respectful tones about the past, especially when we're passing on our heritage to our young. Could it be that we don't want to think badly of Woodrow Wilson? We seem to feel that a person like Helen Keller can be an inspiration, only so long as she remains uncontroversial, one-dimensional. We don't want complicated icons. People do not like to think. If one thinks, one must reach conclusions. Helen Keller pointed out, conclusions are not always pleasant. Most of us automatically shy away from conflict, and understandably so. We particularly seem to avoid conflict in the classroom. One reason is habit. We are so accustomed to blandness that the textbooks, our teacher who brings real intellectual controversy into the classroom, can strike us as a violation of polite rhetoric, or polite rhetoric of classroom norms. We are supposed to speak well of the deceased. After all, probably we are supposed to maintain the same attitude of awe, reverence, and respect when we read about our national heroes, as when we visit our national cathedral and view the final resting places of Helen Keller and Woodrow Wilson. As close physically in death as they were distant ideologically in life. Whatever the cause, the results of heroification are potentially crippling to the students. Helen Keller is not the only person this approach treats like a child. Denying students the humanness of Keller, Wilson, and others keeps students in intellectual immaturity. It perpetuates what might be called a Disney version of history. The Hall of Presidents at Disneyland similarly presents our leaders as heroic statesmen not imperfect human beings. Our children end up without realistic role models to inspire them. Students also develop no understanding of casualty in history. Our nation's 13 separate forays in Nicaragua, for instance, are surely worth knowing about as we attempt to understand why the country embraced a communist government in the 1980s. Textbooks should show history as contingent, affected by the power of ideas and individuals. Instead, they present history as a done deal. Do textbooks, educational videos, and American history courses achieve the result they seek with regard to our heroes? Surely textbook authors want us to think well of the historical figures they treat with such sympathy. And on a superficial level, at least, we do. Almost no recent high school graduates have anything bad to say about either Keller or Wilson. But are these two considered heroes? I have asked hundreds of, in parentheses, mostly whites, college students on the first day of class to tell me their heroes in American history are. As a rule, they do not pick Helen Keller, Woodrow Wilson, Christopher Columbus, Miles Standish, or anyone else in Plymouth, John Smith, or anyone else in Virginia. Abraham Lincoln, or indeed anyone else in American history who the textbooks implore them to choose. Our post-Watergate students view all such establishment heroes cynically. They're boring. Some students choose none. That is, they say they have no heroes in American history. Our students display the characteristically American sympathy for the underdog by choosing African Americans. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, perhaps Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, or Frederick Douglass. Or they choose men and women from other countries, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, or Nelson Mandela. In one sense, this is a healthy development. Surely what we want, let me try that again. Surely we want students to be skeptical. Probably we want them to challenge being told whom to believe in, but relying, or shall I say, but replying none is too glib, too nihilistic for my taste. It is, however, an understandable response to heroification, for when textbook authors leave out the warts, the problems, the unfortunate character traits, and the mistaken ideas, they reduce heroes from dramatic men and women to melodramatic stick figures. Their inner struggle disappears and they become goody-goody, not merely good. Students poke fun at the goodiest of them all by telling Helen Keller jokes. In so doing, school children are not poking cruel fun at a disabled person. They are deflating a pretentious symbol that is too good to be real. Nonetheless, our loss of Helen Keller as anything but a source of jokes is distressing. Knowing the reality of her quite amazing life might empower not only deaf or blind students, but any schoolgirl, and perhaps boys as well. For like other peoples around the world, we Americans need heroes. Statements such as, if Martin Luther King were alive, he suggests one function of historical figures in our contemporary society. Most of us tend to think well of ourselves when we have acted as we image our heroes might have done. Who our heroes are, and whether they are presented in a way that makes them lifelike, hence usable as role models, could have a significant bearing on our conduct in the world. We now turn to our first hero, Christopher Columbus. Care should be taken to vindicate great names from pernicious, Pernicious, erudition, Erudition, wrote Washington Irving, defending heroification. Irving's 3-volume biography of Columbus, published in 1828, still influences what high school teachers and textbooks say about the great navigator. Therefore, it will come as no surprise that heroification has stolen from us the important facets of his life, leaving only melodramatic minuete, Minutiae. Some of those words were a little bit difficult. I did try them and certainly kept it moving so we can get through the book. But in the contents of the sentence, you could possibly come across what the actual sentence is meaning, even with the word that I may or may not say correctly. But you want to know something? That does complete chapter 1. We are done with chapter 1. All right, we're going to keep it moving in my next take. We're going to be on chapter 2. You see that? And it is even a number 1493. The true importance of Christopher Columbus. The true importance of Christopher Columbus. So with us filling up information, Helen Keller and Woodrow Wilson completing that chapter in chapter 1. Please stay tuned. I want you and your family to be blessed this evening. And I will speak with you soon here on Poem Praise 2. And I do thank you for tuning in. And if you like, hit the like button at the bottom. Certainly share, subscribe, and stay tuned. I will speak with you soon. Until then, be blessed and peace from me to you from Poem Praise 2. All right. Later, y'all.